how could you look at the war in Chiraq being so terrible without acknowledging that what the war in Chiraq was 1/1,000,000th of what Lil Durk was doing musically, and now Lil Durk is the biggest artist in the world, affecting way more people than Ak. How could you ignore that, but then try to get mad at war in Chiraq? Without Durk rapping "This Ain't What You Want" and 500 homicides and shit like that, we don't get Durk that's doing this. Without Durk having his team, I won't call it necessarily a gang, whatever, OTF, blah, 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 all these things, he doesn't get to this point. Where is the smoke for him, who, by the way, when we talk about it, I've always feel like I'll be using Durk too much as an example, but sorry. His message isn't that changed. It's not like, at least I stopped the war in Chiraq. Durk is still rapping about niggas getting murdered every day, but you don't have smoke for him. Matter of fact, y'all look at his art as somewhat of a sacred, and then y'all blame the people who either support it or is somewhat involved in that art getting big. However, y'all don't have the same smoke for the record label owners. When Chief Keef, you know who signed the most drill rappers? It was Interscope Records. You know who signed 50 Cent? The guy who was saying "Get Rich or Die Trying," who was promoting a lot of violence? Interscope Records. Where's the smoke for Jimmy Iovine, who later went on to Apple Music, who later went on and never had to. So I remember one time I was on Everyday Struggling, Jeezy was just like, yo, it's cool when you covering the shit, but you ain't had to go to none of these funerals, this and third. But Jeezy, the executive at Def Jam that was putting out your records, that's profiting off your music more than you, they never went to none of the funerals either. So who actually could delegate who should stand to profit from some shit and whatever, given the fact that everybody's helping contribute to making whatever is a success? You could look at it in a vacuum and say, oh, Adam's promoting straight violence. Now, I'm only talking about shit with music. I'll be honest. I think some of the stuff when it comes to like LA gangs, if there's no music attached to it, like I watched some shit that was like about 60 Hispanic dudes that rolled up to his shit over some, I don't know. Just straight gang shit without it actually being relevant to mainstream hip hop or at a level that Adam should be at. I can't get his back on that. I think that's a personal choice. He's in LA, and I think that's probably him playing his own politics, because I think No Jumper is at the point where when I went there was mad Crips. There's niggas who are in the hood. Adam is a multi-millionaire. Adam has the biggest platform on the West Coast. And I think what inevitably happens, because he hires a bunch of Crip members to do shows for him, is that there's politics being played and also politics coming out on the show. And what it's turned into is that it's not only just about culture or content, it becomes about some street shit. That I can't really comment on. You get what I mean? However he navigates that, that's on him. But when it comes to like hip hop stuff, why don't we, again, I'm the first person I believe that's ever came to say there's shared responsibility. Nobody ever, they try to say that I was responsible for all the murder in Chicago. But nobody would want to blame Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Lil Herb, all in. No. So it's one of those things where like nobody want to take real accountability. You get what I mean? It's like, it's a pointless conversation. And when I look at conversations like this, I feel it's super unfair, especially now, because in the space we are at now, Joe Budden, podcasts, and other entities are more synonymous with what people do. Let me give you an example. When I was doing my reporting, quote unquote, and I was putting up mad videos on, YouTube, doing the war in Chiraq, and I was doing my regular videos, which, by the way, I can't wait to get to that. They were grossly incorrect by saying that the war in Chiraq gave me my break. Hold on, let me see if I can find that.
Light shined on his project. Your own
raps about street shit, right?
Your behavior.
Not trying to promote that
All the time. And a lot of I've never seen this tape before. Sound more sinister.
Oh, like
than
when
it
you
is.
call me a domestic abuser.
Death, which is up. I don't think anybody thought that.
It's offensive to the family.
That's not true.
It's
That's
offensive
not
to the
true.
family.
He's literally already locked up.
I don't care. And you to tell me that you never
He's doing more numbers than that.
got
His big break. Nigga is the devil.
What was the movie? What was the movie?
Just a comment on this. I'm gonna give you, I think, is a great analogy, because the War in Chiraq was an epic series, but it's often misconstrued these days that I built my career off of Chicago. Okay, now you're talking to somebody who has done over 3+. I think the last stat I got was close to 4 billion views on YouTube since I've started. I've had many channels deleted. I've had many different main channels. I've only had one War in Chiraq channel. But let me tell you when the narrative started. The narrative started around the time that people was noticing that I was leveling up. I had a lot of people listen to me just on all my platforms. And then people were like, how could we tear this down? How could we just basically make this not seem as official as how it's looking? And they latched on to the War in Chiraq. So they used to say, well, this is a guy who makes fun of dead Chicago kids. That's how it started. It like none of these people really have any semblance of the War in Chiraq. You know why I'll say that? Because the characters I was covering in the War in Chiraq, they don't know. If the War in Chiraq made me that popular, how come y'all don't know none of the niggas other than the main rappers I was covering in the War in Chiraq? Nigga, like, if there was 8 characters I was covering a lot, Pete Rico was one of them. Lil J definitely one of them. They don't know these people. So really, they never really cared about the War in Chiraq. It just became the only place when you couldn't find anything to knock somebody with, that became the thing. I'm going to quickly just show this real quick. War in Chiraq. This is the channel. Oh, shit. No, I think it's youtube.com Chiraq War. I don't know my own URLs. I haven't used this channel forever. Okay. It has 389,000 subscribers. Let me be honest with y'all. This channel has done better posthumously than actually, while for some reason now it still gets a bunch of views just because people are going back. These were not the views then. Of course, I wasn't flopping because I'm a nigga. I'm a real nigga now. But all these views are inflated. I didn't even have, I think I was like, when I quit, I probably maybe had like 289,000 subscribers. So maybe 100,000 subscribers less. These views just weren't like that too. Anyway, so I haven't done it. It says the last one was 5 years ago, right? I'll look at the time. Check it out now. March 17th, March 26th, 2017. By the way, I started Everyday Struggle that time. So I quit pretty much the exact same time. All right. Yeah, and the video, this was when rest in peace Alfredo Santana, right? I really bring this up because of this. If you look at this channel, I did 144 million views on here. Okay? I did 144 million views on this channel. This is why when people say this is my big break, let's look up just DJ Akademiks, right? I'm going to look up just channels, right? So channel. This was my main channel before anything. Let me just show you because sometimes y'all know it off the face. This is Young Me. This is when this is my first kind of like main channel, right? And this channel I retired way earlier than the War in Chiraq. So I retired this, I think in 2014. So I retired one in 2014. I retired the War in Chiraq in 2017. This channel still has more views. This has 149 million. This channel, which was my main channel at the time, has more views than War in Chiraq. Okay, we're just going to look at random channels. My actual main channel now, let me look at I have a backup channel. Let me see if I can find that. It's called The Negotiator. The Negotiator. Fuck. I used to have mad channels. Oh, I only did 179. Oh, this has 179,000 subscribers. I think I ain't used this for a long time. Maybe like, okay, 40 million views. Yeah, I ain't used this for a long time. I had another one with I believe like 200,000. I got deleted. That had about like 112. It got deleted. I don't know why actually, I do know why I got deleted. I was crying, like tears when it got deleted. My actual main these days, right? My actual main these days is 1.3 million. 1.3 billion. Right? To put in comparison, No Jumper as a platform has 1.39 with one channel. Well, they just got Clip Show. Compare all the channels I've had. One's got deleted. Other people who like freebooted whatever my content. It's around 3 to 4 billion. But I'm not doing a selection on Adam, by the way. I love him. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is that if you watch what I've done, the war in Chiraq has never been the main thing. Now, I'll give you this, and this is where people won't acknowledge. The war in Chiraq has never been my biggest content, but it's always been my most edgy content. So I think this comparison is a great compromise. The war in Chiraq has been, to me, what Donkey of the Day is to Charlemagne. However, nobody says Charlemagne is big because of Donkey of the Day. They say he's big because of the Breakfast Club. Do you understand that? I hope y'all get it. Tell me if that makes sense. The Donkey of the Day is the edgiest shit Charlemagne does. It is a thing, right? But what has made Charlemagne be the personality he is, and has helped him get to other levels, is the Breakfast Club. Do you get what I mean? So the Breakfast Club has made him what he is, but he does have an edgy thing that he does that a lot of times people get mad at, which is Donkey of the Day. So when I hear that the war in Chiraq got me on, I'm like, really? No, it did not. I'm gonna be very honest. I don't want to sound like being egotistical. What got me on was that I created a chokehold. I had 7 channels. No. I had 3 active channels, my main, my backup, and War in Chiraq. And I started with a channel called Crime Fails, never really kept up with it. So I was trying to do 3 to 4 channels. I created a stranglehold at that particular time on news reporting. Everything hip-hop, every album coming out. Nigga, I was reviewing shit before Fantano. Like, what people don't realize, and I was texting this to Adam. 2010 to 2013, I'll read my text to Adam. Because I texted him about this. This is the academics, like, whatever, if you want to. I said, yo, nobody wants to talk about how the biggest spike in my career, I hit 1 million subscribers. I hit 1 million subscribers and got the biggest subscriber leap ever. And I became like a de facto guy to go to, especially during like rap conflicts or whatever, during Meek and Drake beef. I was tweeting everything out. Nigga, I know Rap Genius existed, but I was connected. I'm like, yo, when Drake rapped this, it's because that happened over there. I was super big on it. Every one of my tweets back then was getting like 20,000 retweets, this and third, because everybody was involved in that beef. I was doing videos back and forth, breaking down lyrics. That's what got me the biggest spike in my career. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Nigga, I was treating that shit like the Cavs versus the Warriors in the finals, nigga. I was going in. Every fucking freestyle, every like post, I was going in, nigga. That's the biggest uptick in my career where I felt like fans who didn't know some of the shit they were missing in these beefs, they were getting tuned in by me. You get what I mean? So that was the biggest uptick. But like from 2010 to 2013, I was reviewing albums. I remember one of my first joints was slamming a couple Kanye albums. I used to review Drake shit, just making straight comedy. I used to review Future, all that type of shit. A lot of it was reviewing music, obviously doing news stories, right? Using lyrics to kind of create stories out of them because niggas was rapping about shit. But other than Rap Genius, you never really had conversation about them because then, like, Breakfast Club not going to cover a couple of lines, right? I would, right? Then from 2015 onwards, literally was the new rapper wave with Uzi, X, Yachty, Pump, 6ix9ine eventually, but also covering that's what 2015 was important because I covered the Meek and Drake beef. 2017, the new nigga era is here. Uzi and all these dudes, I get on Everyday Struggle. I just can't see how, people are trying to rewrite the history to be like, yo, the war in Chiraq got me lit. That's not what got me lit, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie though. It was talked about within certain communities. Just like right now, if I tell you like, yo, like, say if I was covering New York drill, right? If I'm covering like, yo, the beef with like, I don't know. Say they were free. I was covering the beef with K Flock and fucking D Thing or whatever the case is. Like, bro, that's not what's gonna get you onto mainstream. No, it's not. But it'll be the edgy content you do. Cause I ain't gonna lie, for some people they thought it was the funniest, most interesting content I did. I'll be honest. Anyway, I'm not tripping over it. I think by the way, this is a great conversation on both sides. Both sides. Great conversation. I texted Joe, great conversation. Texted Adam, great conversation. What I do think is missing here is that, let's be real now. And I know I got to go very shortly, so let me just get to the point. We do have to be real. We're at a time in history, right this moment, where it has to be acknowledged that what Adam does, what I do, what Vlad does, everybody who claimed they were too real of a nigga to do that is doing. What am I talking about? Vlad pioneered the breaking interview up into 50 clickbaitable clips. And you could go online right now and the real niggas are doing it too. If you go to, what's the battle rapper guy name? What's his name? I mentioned his name. I don't know. I'm forgetting his name. Everybody's doing it, bro. Cam Capone is doing it. Bro, everybody's doing it. So it's like, there was a time they used to be like, oh, it's the nerdy white guys and the corny black guy act that's doing it. Everybody's doing it. You get what I mean? Like, Joe Budden talks about the same type of topics. Maybe he doesn't go as far. And that's why I'm like, you can't knock if a motherfucker wants to go further than you into the same topic. Because really, if there was a real nigga code, you just wouldn't even acknowledge it. But obviously, you acknowledge some violence or some type of violent type music in hip hop. So now it's becoming nuanced in how you're critiquing. You're saying, well, I wouldn't go that far in talking about it. But now you're telling another person that they got to adhere to your code. You know what I mean? We're all doing the same shit now, right? Everybody's a podcaster. Everybody, Matt Hoffa. Everybody's a podcaster. Everybody's clickbaiting. Everybody's talking about everything going on. There was a time when they used to say, oh, it's Chatty Patty. Niggas like Akademiks and Charlemagne are gossiping. Everybody talks about everything. I could look up right now and I could Google Joe Budden talks about YSL indictment. And maybe he ain't jumping all the way into it to say, well, this person is beefing with this person and I heard this and third. Granted, I'll give him that. But we all are basically doing content. It's just that I feel it's hypocritical when you're just telling somebody how far to go. That's why even with Adam, for example, shit, if I'm him, I wouldn't do some of the, like, I think he's into a lot of LA politics. Sometimes I'm watching it, I'm like, why does this look like a gang, like, symposium? Like, you know what I mean? It's an LA street gang politics symposium. I wouldn't do that. But that's on him. Now, am I going to tell him to stop? No, there's going to be repercussions or there's going to be consequences that he would have to face or that will eventually happen, and that's on him. I don't have either opinion because it would be a hypocrite of me to tell him that he should do it like this because I'm doing it like this because I do my own content in different ways that he probably wouldn't do. Like when I did the war in Chiraq, I think he even mentions it here, he wouldn't do the war in Chiraq. So again, we're all content creators, and the only thing, just to wrap this up again, this conversation was very different when the majority of music wasn't content creators and it was dudes who were just living privately or just expressing themselves with art. Every nigga is a podcaster. Every nigga has a mic. Every nigga is telling stories or recapping or putting shit in their own words or giving their opinion about it, whether they're getting really into it, whether they're clickbaiting, everybody's doing it. I think it's super unfair these days to act like Adam, to act like Vlad, to act like Sean Cotton, to act like Akademiks, to act like any of the people who are doing media, maybe like as a bigger brand, is to be held to a standard that really nobody else is held to. So that's my opinion on it. I think this conversation is dated. Like some of the stuff that I'm talking about, like podcasts are going to talk about too. They just won't say it first, right? So a podcast is going to talk about, if I report, yo, O Block just got indicted, they're going to mention it on their podcast. They just won't break the news. We're talking about the same shit. You know what I mean? Anyway. All right. Okay, cool. Yo, I really almost have to go. Damn. And I spent my whole time on 2 topics. Fuck. By the way, love these conversations. Joe was trying to call me during this podcast. I wish I was in a room. Salute to Joe. By the way, I told him his podcast is booming recently. They bounced back from letting go the Stooges. The Stooges, they're flustering. They're doing bad. They're down bad. God is good, and Joe is winning. And Adam doing his own thing. You know what I mean? He's fucking hordes of whores, and he got his own platform, very unique to him. Congrats to him. All right, let's keep this bitch moving. What the hell?